This is an SM Media production. Hi there, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Pro Wrestling Show on SM Media. It's the first show of 2024, and I'm delighted as always to be joined by my guest, Scott Young. Scott, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, mate. Yeah, it's hopefully for another great year wrestling after what was 2023, which was one of the best years I can remember.
Yep, start as you mean to go on. We've already, in the first 3 days of 2024, we've had a pay-per-view on the 30th, which we'll dissect a wee bit. We have a major departure in WWE behind the scenes, and we have a return of a certain superstar Hollywood actor. Fairly busy in the
Never heard
past
of the
couple of
guy.
days, isn't it?
Never heard of the guy, to be fair.
I know, it's been fairly, and again, one big return like that can just throw up all the what we thought. I mean, I thought we were kind of, it made sense. Like Cody would go after Roman, Punk would go after Rollins, but now it's all up in the air when the return of the Rock.
Yeah, it's just, but the thing is, it's something that we've not had in WWE for ages. Is all, I think a lot of possibilities can happen, and they're all good.
Yeah,
Like we could have Punk Rock. We could have Punk Rock after the reason Punk left in 2014 was because of the Rock main event Mania ahead of him. Could have Punk Roman because you get the Paul Heyman thing. You could have Rock Roman night one or Rock Cody night one, winner faces Roman night two. There's a lot of things that can happen, and they're all good.
yeah,
Which
I'm
it
really
feels only
really
positive.
excited about the kind of next kind of landscape. You're not going to believe this, Scott, but we're doing this. We're going to do our 2024 predictions. And I don't want to say like, oh, I can predict the future and things like that. But one of the ones I had in mind was Kevin Dunn would leave WWE. That was one of the ones that I had written down before anything.
Before
I
he
didn't.
left.
Now, this is massive in terms of it's going to be such a change to the WWE product, because I think one of the biggest bugbears I've had in recent years has been some of the camera work it's just been chaotic. Michael Cole seems a different person in recent months, and I think with Kevin Dunn being gone, I think the quality of the production of WWE will still be there, but I think a big problem behind the scenes is now no longer there.
I'm surprised he's lasted as long as he has.
So I thought I'd be one of the
I
first.
was shocked he's lasted because Vince left what, July 2022.
Yeah,
Aye, and that's what, a year and a half later, and is almost his right hand man, other than Bruce Pritchard, is just leaving now. I'm surprised he's stuck around. I thought he'd been away.
I'm
So
glad to see the
yeah,
back of him, to be honest.
so I think someone puts, obviously, when you think Kevin Dunn, you think all the negative stuff, like he didn't like Billy Kay, for example, he hated Becky Lynch's accent,
Yeah,
all this kind of the camera cuts. Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen the video of the camera guy just moving up and down with Seth hitting Drew with a
yeah.
steel chair. Have you seen
Did
that?
you
Yeah.
see the Punk? I didn't notice this at the time. Did you see the Punk Rollins stare down? There's 37 camera shot, like different camera switches in the space of like 30 seconds. That's
Yeah,
chaotic.
that's not good.
That's
Yeah.
not, and it
But he's
again, it
also
just gives you
had
a full
some
head.
good stuff. He's also had a
Oh,
lot of good stuff.
yeah,
Like, I think I read he's the one that it was him and Bray were the ones who sat down and put together Firefly Funhouse match.
yeah,
I think he was the one that put together the Boneyard match. And obviously had the meme now, AJ with Taker rising up behind him. So he's obviously done a lot of good work, but you expect he's done some good stuff in what, 30, 40 year he's been there?
yeah. Did you know how that he had a job for life? Did you know the story behind that?
No.
Apparently, his dad saved like burn tapes for like a burning car. And like it was, if they'd burned, like they wouldn't have had like television for a certain time, so his son was given a job for life, and it kind of has worked out for him. I mean, he's probably a
He's
lot
I think I said something.
multi-millionaire.
Did he not get 8 million quid from this
Yeah.
Endeavour deal?
Yeah, it's really good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
mental.
Yeah, yeah. Your dad
Huh?
saves
Sorry,
dad
goes
saved
on.
tapes. Your dad saved tapes from a burning car, and you get 8 million quid. But again, so much life. What did you think of World's End? Now, I don't. We'll not dissect it too much, but do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? Do you think it was okay? Wasn't he?
If we done our awards now, I'd have put it up that it was worst show.
It wasn't good. I didn't think it was good. There was a couple of
It
good
got very
matches in it.
saved. It got very much saved by the last three matches. The edging, well, not Adam Copeland Christian match was great. I thought the angle at the end was a lot of fun. Couple of plot holes, but other than that, it was a lot of fun. The Eddie Kingston John Moxley match.
I thought that was the best
was
match
my
of the night.
opinion match of the night. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Expected for day two. You know what you're getting with day two. And then you had the main event and the angle at the end. I think the angle there was kind of predictable because of obviously you had Cole who was saying I'll give Joe the title shot, give Joe the tag title match, whatever. And then come at Joe the week before Joe was working with the devil. And it was kind of obvious that Cole was going to be the devil. But just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's bad. I think heel Adam Cole is a lot better than face Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Dynamite really and getting a bit more explanation into the Joe stuff, mainly with the devil.
Yeah, I think we should cover it maybe in the next week once we kind of see. I think we all think that MJF is going to be out for a long time anyway. Obviously, it's very well documented that he's not on the roster. I think we both have suspicions that that's all a ruse and he's actually going to be back in AEW. But we'll touch on that later on. But I think we should maybe touch on the World's End maybe next week, and we'll dissect that a wee bit once we know the outcome of Dynamite. But let's move into our subject at hand today. We're going to do 5 each predictions for the year of 2024 in wrestling. What we think could happen this year. Now, it promises to be a fascinating year. We have a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. You go first. What's your first one and why?
The first one is WWE split the women's tag titles and they become a women's mid-card belt.
Okay.
And the why is the tag division's been dead pretty much since it got there.
Yeah.
You had the stuff with Sasha and Bailey, which was good. But other than that, they've just been used. They haven't either not been used or been used to showcase the main event title scene. So I think, especially with Jade Cargill there, who obviously had a very famous mid-card women's title run, I think that could be. And obviously you saw what Becky done with the NXT title on Raw. That was almost treated like a women's mid-card belt, giving your Tegan Noxes, your Xia Lees, people like that a run, 15-minute match on Raw. So yeah, I can see them doing that. And I think the NXT run was almost used as a trial for that. It's worked, and I can see that becoming something towards the end of the year.
You know what fascinates me with the women's tag team division is that now I think we've got champions who are a proper tag team that I don't think are going to be unlucky. But they brought back Alba and Isla 2 weeks ago and put them with Damage Control. Put them in Put them. Well, do you know what I mean? You could have a good rivalry going in with Alba and Isla against Katana Chance and Caden Carter. That could be a decent rivalry, and it might elevate that. Because what I'm going to see, I think it's a classic example. The women's tag team match at WrestleMania last year was a 4-way, and the tag team belts weren't even defended. Do you know what I mean?
No,
they were part of the
It was used for Ronda and Shayna, but Ronda was injured.
Yeah.
So they was basically a triple threat match, and Ronda came in and won at the end with one leg.
Yeah, I just Disney. It's no worked, and you can put it down to luck and things like that. But I can't think apart from Bailey and Sasha have the work to good effect. You mentioned there obviously about the mid card situation. Do you split them into 2 different titles, or what do you do with that?
No, you just have a floating champ.
Yeah,
I
think the brand split's been a bit crap
because there's a lot of talent in that division. Even look at NXT. We spoke last week, or 2 weeks ago. Tiffany Stratton is the next breakout star. You get Cora Jade there. Cora Jade's not the best in the ring, but she's got an aura. She got something about her. Then you get Lyra, who's a champ now. Some great matches. There's a lot of talent in NXT, and there's a lot of talent in the main roster, and I think they should be utilising it more. And I think when women's mid card belt, maybe a women's IC belt or something like that, could be the way to go. I think it is the way to go, but I think they should do it. I think they will.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair enough. I think I can see that happening. My first one is regarding television, and it involves both WWE and AEW. I think WWE Raw will go to Warner Brothers Discovery, which will be probably TNT, and as a result, AEW will end up off WBD. Now,
That's been going about. I'm sorry, I'll let you explain.
the reason I think is I think Warner Brothers Discovery, if they think AEW is close to WWE, they are not looking at Raw, regardless. Raw, they want Monday Night Raw. Now, will it be Monday Night Raw after it? I'm not sure. But can you imagine the storyline if Monday Night Raw ended up on Turner Network television? Imagine that. That would be groundbreaking. Now, AEW will get a home somewhere. Do you know what I mean? They could set their own. They could just end up in Fight or something like that. They could. They'll be fine. AEW, but if Warner Brothers Discovery have the chance at Raw, they are going to go for it, and as a result, they don't want AEW. I don't see anybody
Yeah,
else playing. I don't see anybody else being in the market for the fact that USA's got SmackDown makes me think that Raw's moving anyway. In terms of who else could be in the running, I don't think anybody else seems to be as serious as WBD. WBD seems to be the number one option. I think Raw is going to end up in Turner, and I think that's bonkers saying that.
I think a certain CM Punk has got a big
That is
say in that
that as well, yeah. Because if you
because
remember
him
his
and
line,
David Saslow were
yeah,
one bill Phil.
one Bill Phil.
Yeah, I think CM Punk's big for that. I just can't see it happen personally. I think it's one of these things that wrestling fans want to see happen to watch the world explode, but I can't see it. And what do AEW do? Because Fox will only take them. I think Fox have shut. I don't know a lot of American TV networks. I'm completely honest, but I can't see Fox taking them because I think Fox get burned by SmackDown, the wrestling bubble,
Fox will
and
touch
then
it.
no USA will just get Raw. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I don't think it'll happen personally. I think Raw will end up. I can see Raw going into an Amazon or a Disney
Well,
personally.
that you've got that as well. You've obviously got the option. I think FX, which is technically a Disney,
Yeah,
but I think that could be an option. Amazon, possibly. Do you see maybe WWE just going right? We've had enough. We're going to do our own. We're going to just put it on the network. We're going to just put it in Peacock and add to the Peacock. I don't something like that. If you were to say to me now, what do I think would be the best story? I think it would be WBD, and I think it was. I think it would have such a butterfly effect because AEW they won't have both. They won't have. What's the point of having the number two there as well? If you've got because
no,
Raw's whipping Dynamite. Let's be honest. In terms of ratings,
yeah.
Dynamite's not to the level of Raw. So they obviously see the ratings pool. They've got NXT secured. They've got SmackDown secured. Raw is their baby. They're not Vince. I think Vince would have been quite happy to go down the route of right. We'll just keep it on USA, keep that continuity. It's not that anymore. Do you know what I mean? Endeavor. Look at the UFC. Look at the deal they did with ESPN. Now I don't think ESPN on the running, but look,
No,
they're not afraid. Endeavor are not afraid to go right. We're going to try something different here. Warner Brothers Discovery would be an unbelievable coup if they could get that.
what? Yeah, it definitely would be from a WWE side, but from back to the W side, what do they do? Because they've got two titles named after
Yeah,
WBD channels. They've got TNT title and the TBS title.
suppose we'll be
So
fighting.
I don't know what they
They'll
do.
be fighting for the Amazon Prime
USA Network
Championship,
title.
something like that. Something like that.
Mm.
But in terms like there is a bit of method here. Obviously, Tony Khan, and we'll get into him in a minute. Tony Khan does want to go back to WBD, but if you're for Warner Brothers Discovery and you look at the money they pumped into here with like TNT Sports and Discovery Plus and what they've done with that, they don't have that loyalty towards AEW because technically AEW hasn't done enough, in my opinion anyway, to go right, you deserve an upgrade of what you've got already. So
I think they've like massively exceeded expectations though. which I
You
think
think?
when you look at, I think WBD would have at 2019 they set out a goal. I think I read somewhere it's if you hit 650,000 weekly viewers on Dynamite, then that's a success.
Hmm.
And on average, they've hit 800, 900K, which
I mean, it's good rate.
is
It is good ratings. Don't get me wrong, but
it's not. I still think that's massively exceeded expectations
yeah,
of what WBD thought when they kind of deal, especially when they were up against NXT at the time as
hmm
well. So yeah, I can't I think it'd be funny. I'd enjoy it. I'm one that loves to see the world burn, so I would love to see it happen. But I don't think it will personally.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting wherever they go, regardless. Because I'd be very surprised if they end up back on USA if they get SmackDown as well. I don't think they'll go down that route again. I think they'll look at, and again, you've got the likes of Amazon, you've got the likes of Disney Plus, like Discovery Plus. You've got so many
Netflix.
other options now. Netflix, another option. They're all looking to get into live TV. What's better than the cable? Probably the highest rated cable program at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? There's going to be plenty of pursuers, and I think this is going to be a very interesting run. Let's move into your second prediction, Scott.
My second one's a bit. It's different to what you. It's very different to the first two, and it's Roman loses at Mania, and then we don't see him for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I've got
He
Roman Reigns in mine.
2025 Rumble is what I've put down. Is when he comes back.
Right.
Number 30 in the Rumble. He comes back.
Right. One of mine were, but again, I've got more in the locker just in case. I had Roman loses at Mania and retires. I think he's done.
I don't know about it. I don't know much retired, but I put that down because I think he's just. I think he wants to go to movies. I think he
Yeah,
looked
that
at
that is
Cena,
it. And I don't
Rock.
think he's fully physically fit. Like I think he's. You might.
I've
It
been
must
thinking
have.
that as
It
well.
must have been. It must catch up with him though. Like it must be. Like it must be completely done in with what he's went through, what his body's went through. Like it must be. Like
Leukemia twice.
yeah,
Even after Mania 36, when he
yeah.
went away, he came back massive.
Mhm.
So that must have taken some form of physical toll on him. So I can only do it. I think that's why he's went part time. Obviously, I don't want to speculate the guy's health
Yeah.
because of what he's been through. But when you think about it, like he does what I think this year's done what 6, 7
I think it was
matches,
10. I think six
10,
TV, maybe 10. Because they've done a few house
and they're
shows as well.
all long matches. They're all
Yeah.
half-hour, 40-minute movies almost because of the old drama and the character work and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've gone. I think Cody beats him. Don't think it'll be The Rock. I think Cody beats him at Mania, and then I don't think then he'd come back as the biggest babyface on planet Earth at the Rumble.
Because I think that was always the plan. Like I think it was always the plan when they turned him heel that he would turn babyface at some point. But I saw a thing the other day actually, and it actually reminded me of just how weird this is. 2 years ago, we're talking about day one. Brock Roman was meant to be the match. Brock was meant to win that, and this reign
Yeah,
that we talk about, pun intended, would never have happened. And he probably would be a
yeah, that
babyface. He would have probably been babyface that point. So
yeah, the what if of that match needs examined.
yeah,
The
badly.
the ripple effect of that match. I think that could be a decent video.
Yeah, it could be.
Going back, yeah, uh, I think I think the template's right there with his cousin. You had Rocky, you had the Rocky die stuff.
Hmm.
Then you turns heel part of the nation, and then he turns face and is the biggest face on planet Earth, and still is.
And we were talking about it last week as well. Like when you've got his entrance. See the 10 years ago when they couldn't turn them face. They could not turn the. Do you know what I mean? It was just a disaster.
Couldn't
It
turn the
was
crowd.
the booking was just disastrous. But now he's just got such an aura that
Yeah,
he's going to be fine. Do you know what I mean? Roman Solo writes itself. Do you know what I mean? You've got the heir to they've called him the tribal heir. That's
aye,
you're not telling me that's not leading to something. Now, people are saying about Cody doesn't need to finish the story against Roman. Yes, he does. That is
yeah,
the
he
one.
does.
That's the one thing you can't have Cody Rhodes beating Gunther. You can't have that. You can't have him
No,
just. beating anybody. It's got to be that, because the way they built last year was so good, because it was Roman's Dusty's son. Roman was Dusty's real son in terms of he produced things like that. That's Cody's story. I mean, look back at that the stare down from the SmackDown. I can't remember, what was it, just before War Games, where the
Yeah,
Cody
no, it
and
was
Roman
just
staring.
after. It was no, it was just before Fastlane, I think.
Was
No,
it?
just after Fastlane, because Jay and Cody just won the belts.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why they were defending them against Theory and Waller. It was quite a decent match, to be fair.
Yeah,
And then you had I speak about it all the time. Nick Aldis in that segment was. I think that was Nick Aldis' first night
it was
part of
either
the
first
company.
night or the week after. Yeah, it
I
was.
think it was his first night
Could be.
because that was a big SmackDown. Because I think Triple H was making an announcement, Roman was making his first appearance in a
Yeah,
while. So and obviously the big announcement was Nick Aldis. So yeah, I think I was always a Roman fan. Like even 2015, 2016, I
just
thought
badly, but it was badly booked. Do you know what I mean? Like it
he
was.
good matches. He good matches, and like he was doing one arm power bombs, and then
Mhm.
talk about suffering succotash the next week.
Yeah,
What's he doing?
yeah.
Just
But
let the guy be the guy.
that's why I'm quite glad to see the back of like Kevin Dunn, because that whole presentation is now gone. Do you know what I mean? It's now
Yeah,
a different. Like you see with NXT, I thought NXT last night was phenomenal. Like just the way it was done, just like having like some weird, like I think it was Tiffany and Fallon Henley. It was like the winner of this is the set as like each other's servant. I love storylines like that. Like just like a doesn't need to just be a random match. Like it just a wee bit of a storyline. They're going to do vignettes next week, but it'll be hilarious. Things like that. I just think it's so much better. Right, I'm going to go for my second one. I'm going to the world of AEW, and I think I don't know if you agree here. Will Ospreay will win the AEW title at All In, but he will beat Swerve Strickland, who will win it off Joe at Double or Nothing.
I quite like that. I think Osprey winning the title at Wembley is. I think it's a. I think it writes itself.
Because he's got to be the babyface
You've
because of
get
where it is.
yeah, and also you've got. I don't know if this is unpopular. I think you've got the best British wrestler of all time, and Will Ospreay in terms of bell to bell. He's
Yeah,
certainly in the conversation.
certainly.
And then winning the title at the biggest stadium in the UK, I think it writes itself. You've got him beat Swerve. Swerve. I mean, I think Swerve's phenomenal. I
He's
don't know about Swerve beating Joe because that's heel versus heel, two big heels.
will it be though?
Don't
Will it be? What will they have? Do you know what I mean, will Joe be
you
turned on
can't?
or something? Like you could do something with that. Like
Yeah, I like heel Joe. Heel Joe's good. I think
heel Joe's
don't even
great.
saw his presser. Don't even saw
Yeah.
his presser. That is a man who is the perfect man to carry the company.
And think of that as well, even like 2 years ago, that we're sitting talking about Samoa Joe, maybe even longer than 2 years ago, maybe. Samoa Joe was done. He
Yeah,
was he was not wrestling anymore. He was happy to be a commentator. Now,
he was a great
a
commentator as well.
great commentator, and he was even go back to the program of Carrying Cross with where he was the enforcer. Like
Yeah,
that was good. Now he's a world champion, and has been absolutely killing it. You know what I mean? Just
aye,
like it's makes the reason I think it'll be. So I mean, you could. I think with Swerve, he's again we talk about this aura. You even watch at World's End. He's just. I mean, his match has been changed from Keith Lee to Dustin Rhodes. No disrespect to Dustin Rhodes, but it was good. It was fine. And it was just because of the aura he has, and
yeah,
I think that'll go down as one of the WWE's biggest mistakes was letting him go.
yeah. I was watching Steve Austin. I think this was a good year. It was actually 2012, the top of the Nexus,
Hmm.
and he spoke about Husky Harris, who obviously turned into Bray Wyatt,
Yeah,
and he said, "Whoever it is, he's got it." And that line's always stuck with me. That comes to mind when I think of Bray Wyatt. Comes to mind when I think of Swerve as well. What I don't know what it is, but he's got it. Like he's got this aura. As soon as he walked, like we spoke about last week about Roman's music. As soon as the Roman's music hit, the room changes. The crowd are fixated on him, and you get that with Swerve. And
Yeah,
I think Prince
the
Nana. I think
not
Prince
just
Nana's
that, but
great.
see the line, see the who's hit house, Swerve's house. It's the
Yeah,
whole crowd are in it. It's brilliant.
I think you more than me have bashed AEW quite a bit, but I think Swerve is one of those. You look at Swerve, you look at Christian Cage. I think that you look at them and think, yeah, Tony's done well with it.
And that's that. I think Swerve's a big like Miro and Andrade been a good example of that, right? They were floundering. Like Andrade obviously is like he knows where he wants to be. Fair enough. Miro is nowhere near where he should be. Swerve's been one of those where he didn't,
No,
although he was in hit row and things like that. He was fairly over in WWE. He wasn't anywhere near that level. He wasn't even the level of like a Malachi
he's
Black,
not what he is now.
and and he's just been organically
No,
just improved, and that's good booking. That's one of the very few things you can say Tony Khan's done right, has just been organically putting him in, and he's not done it very often. But I just think with Swerve, he's been absolutely phenomenal. And when he said about in his presser, I want to be the first African champion, phenomenal, like just
yeah,
brilliant, just like that's what's going to happen. I think him going into him and Osprey, I think that would be a classic. It'd be a brilliant.
yeah. Just
Like
give him half. What Tony? I think the best thing, what I can say about Tony is Tony's a very good matchmaker.
yeah,
Don't know if he's a great booker, but he's a very good matchmaker.
hmm
Like he can go down his roster of talent people he'll work and he'll work. I think you've seen that. That's
yeah.
probably why AEW have had a great year in terms of pay-per-views,
And
because
the
Tony
Continental
knows,
Classic was some of the matches in it were brilliant.
yeah, Danielson, Kingston.
Yeah. Even like Garcia,
Yeah,
Daniel Garcia now, you're thinking about him in a completely different light because of that Continental Classic.
yeah, definitely.
So
And I think when it comes to, I don't know, I personally think Osprey beating Joe would be a better match than,
it could be, you could do something. Yeah, I mean, Osprey Joe would be
yeah,
fine as well. I just think in terms of Swerve, the way to make that event, I think Swerve, I don't think Joe, I'll be very surprised if Joe carries it that long. But
I would keep it on him for a while, because
you could,
I sort of go back to his presser. I watched his presser and thought, that's a man who's been media trained by WWE.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of them that I don't know if he want to speak about it, but Tony in that presser didn't cover himself in glory
Well, that's one. That's
with
one
his
I'm going to
outfit
get into.
choices.
That's one I'm going to get into later on. So I think we'll save that for that. But I
Yeah,
think there's a wee bit of a kind of a butterfly effect could happen as a result of that press conference. Like, let's move into your number three.
my number three, sticking with the Tony Khan theme. It's probably the most out there prediction I've got. But I've got with Tony Khan buys New Japan.
Mm.
I think with a presidential change, I don't know how well New Japan's gonna do. And I
No.
think with that, because I think New Japan's been slowly going downhill since AEW started up, and they took their biggest stars, and they've kept on taking the biggest stars with Ibushi, Osprey, Okada's contracts up. Whether he goes WWE or AEW's still yet to be seen.
hmm
But they haven't hit the heights of Omega, Okada, for example.
No.
And I can see Tony jumping at that opportunity to buy a new promotion. I don't know whether he'll do what he done with Ring of Honor and make it a sort of developmental thing, or just keep New Japan and just keep New Japan doing what they're doing, and he runs it from, he's almost a spectator over it. But I think Tony Khan will buy New Japan.
Well, if he does buy New Japan, this isn't a prediction I've got. This is just something I think Ring of Honor is just. I think he should just retire it. To be honest.
I think he should have done that anyway,
Yeah.
because he's no
I
done it with it.
don't get it. I don't get what he's trying
No.
to do with that now. I just like if you're going to have, you could have Ring of Honor as something like an AEW developmental. But now he's lost. There's been a lot of backstage changes that I think are weird, like QT Marshall going, Kevin Sullivan going, which I think is a huge one. I don't think the Matt Jackson's wife is that big on this. I mean, their merchandising's been atrocious, so they
Yeah.
needed a professional hanging out. But likes of Kevin Sullivan going, I just think there's a weird. And the guy, I think he was something to do with WWE. He's now in charge of the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
was something to do with the live events. The live events have been poor as well.
Yeah, one of the Jacksonville, no, one of the lawyers is left to go work in the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's something. I think if you go back, if talking back to ripple effects, I think Cody Rhodes leaving AEW is one of the biggest ones we can talk about.
Yeah,
Because when you think about it, ever since Cody's left, it's slowly, yeah, Cody left, and then
I
All
think
Out
Cody. I
happened.
think Cody was the one. Cody was the of the EVP of the four EVPs. Cody was the one who would think he's a good mind for the business.
Yeah,
Like I think losing him has been probably has exposed Tony more than anyone. Right, this is my third one, and you said about controversial. This is controversial.
oh
Chris
nice.
Jericho will be forced to retire. Right
Right,
now,
so talk about this then.
do we get into do we get into this deep? I'm not sure, but I just think the fans are bored of him, and this the other night just hasn't helped that.
No.
Because what is it for a start? How are we supposed to believe now that everyone's fine with him and Sammy Guevara? Are we just meant
Yeah,
to? Do
there's
you know what I mean? Just are we just meant to forget what happened a couple months ago? Sting, this do we need to see Sting and Chris Jericho in the same ring? Do you know what I mean?
there's
Like,
2003. What's going on?
exactly. And I think as well, this will have an impact because if things have happened the way that's being reported they've happened now, I'm not saying, but again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Chris Jericho, again, I'll always be a Chris Jericho fan in terms of his character. Some of his character changes have been brilliant to me, but
Yeah,
if what's going on behind the scenes is anywhere near true, and Tony Khan has behaved that way at a press conference, you do not answer a question like that, whether you're aware of it or not. You do not answer a question like that while you're wearing sunglasses and whatever that
there's
was in his head. Do you know what I mean? That's not that's
there's,
that's idiotic.
there's a part of me that thinks he forgot he had it on,
Yeah, but
but like you should like he knows he should Tony openly admitted he reads the Observer, so he knows what's going on in terms
I
of like
think he
Twitter,
feeds
and
the Observer, to be honest.
I mean that's a point for a different day, but yeah, he openly reads the Observer. He knew what was going on, and surely he's not stupid enough. He's obviously a smart bloke.
Hmm.
You don't become a billionaire and run a very successful wrestling company if you're a stupid bloke. He's obviously a smart bloke, so he should know what's going to be asked. So he should know, right? I shouldn't be answering these questions while wearing this.
Yeah.
So when is it Tony? I think Tony Storm gave him it as part of her
And
like
the
gimmick
Tony
type
Storm
thing.
thing was the media the Tony Storm
Calling
thing
him Anthony. It's
was
great fun.
brilliant, and the Wendy
Yeah,
Richter thing was good as well. But that goes out the window because 2 minutes later he makes an idiot of himself,
yeah.
and
Like
that's we. You think of that. It's the same with the All Out thing as well. We'll go back to it. You don't think of some of the good lines in that it was said about like MJF and things. You think about Tony Khan just sitting there while this guy is just going to
it's
town on his business partners, and he's just sitting there like a wee boy, just like I have no idea what to do here. And it was the
yeah,
same the other night. It was the same. He
yeah,
just and I text you after he was announcing Giannis and Antetokounmpo.
yeah.
I don't care if you're the biggest basketball fan on the planet. I don't care if you and if Ali McCoy was to join us in this show, we would not behave like that.
No.
And that
Like
is,
there's a sense of professionalism that
yeah,
needs to come into it when it comes to Tony. And I'll go back to it. Would you see Vince do that?
no.
Would you see Triple H do that? Would you even see Stephanie McMahon do that?
Think about the media scrum where Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes are legitimately hammered.
Steaming.
Right,
Aye.
that was hilarious because
Yeah.
there's a wee bit of a professionalism. Do you know what I mean? There's still the professionalism. You don't get that. You don't get that in AEW. You don't get that while he's sitting there. He needs to stop sitting. Let the he's sitting with all the wrestlers during that media scrum. He needs to get out the way. He does do what Triple
Yeah.
H does. Do a 10-minute thing about talking about how good the demo is and not like the things like that. That clearly
Buzzwords.
is all he's got going for him in terms of the product. He doesn't need to sit there for 2.5 hours while everybody, because he sits there and just looks a child. And the
Yeah,
Jericho thing doesn't help. The Jericho thing, if anything comes of that, which we're hearing is true, if it's true and it's been covered up, then I think Jericho's done, because you don't
yeah,
survive
Jericho.
that.
If there's any sense of that being true, then Chris Jericho shouldn't step foot in a wrestling ring ever again.
And not just
Like
that as well. I
even
think
today,
I think physically he's done.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with
even
that.
today, we've seen this stuff. Velveteen Dream put out an apology video, and the collection of Twitter went, "Don't care."
Yeah.
And that I read that as soon as I saw the video, I thought that video translates to Triple H get me in the Rumble. But no, if any, even going back to I think Chris Jericho been done for a while. The whole question of who's the first. I mean, before Cody, the first question was who's going to be the first AEW starting jump the ship. My answer was always Chris Jericho, because I always spoke about, because I hear him. He was on True Geordie's podcast, and he still speaks so highly of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Even after everything this was just after the allegations came out, and he was still talking about Vince McMahon, which is ironic now, but that's a different story. But yeah, I think Jericho, just keep him as a mouthpiece. He still has a half decent promo when he wants to be. Just keep him as even Sammy's mouthpiece if he needs. Just don't have him wrestle. Maybe have him wrestle once.
Put him in commentary.
Aye, he's a great commentator.
Yeah. Put him
Maybe
in
have
commentary.
have a sort of match. Maybe give him a 10-minute match in All In or something. Give him
Do you know when
Vigredo or something like
do you know when I came to that conclusion was it all in when he just looks? Do you know, he looked like Iggy Pop.
Yeah,
That's who he looked like coming down that. I'm like, and even the song people are bored of. And I'm a Chris Jericho fan, as I say. Like, see, the last and that whole time with Kevin Owens was my favourite Chris Jericho period.
I think my
Now,
favourite Chris Jericho was 09.
08,
The
09 as well. Yeah,
stuff with Sean. He
yeah,
went, I'm the best in the world at what I do. He took pure serious and angry all the time.
yeah,
I think that was probably my favourite Chris Jericho, but yeah, I think he's done personally.
yeah. So Chris
And we
Jericho.
might get on to someone else who's done and shouldn't wrestle again.
Yeah. Well, let's get into your number 4.
My number 4 is, this might be, I was talking about the third one we got into, but this might be the most controversial one on the list. No CM Punk drama.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get a single Dave Meltzer, Sean Rossap, Mike Johnson, whoever, report about a CM Punk drama. I think he's. I just come. I don't want this turn into a Tony Khan slaughter, because I think we've done that 2 weeks ago. But I think he knows that Triple H won't let him get away with half the stuff Tony Khan let him get away with.
The only thing I
And
can
also,
see
I think,
happening.
and also, if you look into all the rumours, CM Punk wants to take over from Shawn Michaels at some point. And if he starts scrapping with Sami Zayn backstage, that won't happen.
The only thing do you know what I think would be so it wouldn't be funny, but it would. Imagine he has finally, after 10 years, came back to main event WrestleMania, and night one we have Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and then night two Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes. I think that would end CM Punk, but that's not
But
going
I
to
think
happen. Do you know what I mean?
there's a way.
He's going to get his moment. He's not back unless he hasn't. He's not. That's been guaranteed to him. I can put the house on that. That
Or you flip into a story.
you could do that, but the problem you've got is if it does kick off, has it just been a wasted comeback?
Yeah, but I don't think if Triple H is a very persuasive man, he wants to be. You heard that. I don't know if you remember before AEW, Triple H would try to sign the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page.
Mm-hmm.
And the Young Bucks were I think Young Bucks said this in an interview. So they spoke to Triple H many times. And before every interview, we went in there saying, we're just going to tell him no. And then somehow managed to persuade him to have more talks the next day.
Mm.
So Triple H can be very
Yeah.
persuasive if he wants to be.
Yeah.
And I think he can talk CM Punk into a story where he doesn't main event Mania and The Rock takes his main event status again. And then we could get Punk Rock at SummerSlam.
What do you think of Rock Reigns of Australia? I think that's.
I like it.
Do you think
like
it? Do you think though? Do you think that's the because I don't know if you ever watched Young Rock, but he said that that match can only happen at WrestleMania. I
I
don't.
I like the Australia thing.
I
I
think
think
the Australia
we've
thing will be
been.
fine. I just don't know if it's going to happen.
I think it will happen, and I really like the fact this happened. If it does, I really like it because we as wrestling fans have been commissioned by Vince to think every big match needs to happen
Yeah.
at WrestleMania. When in reality, think about Australia was a massive show.
Hmm.
You know, like 60,000, 65,000 people
Hmm.
in Australia. I feel a bit sorry for Rhea because I think Rhea Becky could main event that as well.
Hmm.
But I think I like the fact that they're headlining. I don't want to say B shows, but not Mania with a massive match like Rock Roman.
Yeah. No, I think I would be fairly happy with it if they went down the Rock Roman route at Australia. And I think again it just keeps Cody and Punk fine. Right, my number four is regarding free agency. I think we will see another AEW defection to WWE, and I think it will be absolute Ricky Starks. But I think he will win the NXT Championship. I think he'll go to NXT, and I think he'll thrive in NXT. Then he goes.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
well,
big enough in terms of the casual viewer at the moment to go straight up to the main roster.
I don't know what his contract situation is saying, but I do like him going to NXT because
He's
it
very
gives
much a
just gives in it. Yeah,
WWE type guy.
he turned up at the Rumble with Cody. Was that him in the CCTV?
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was him. It was him. I think Daniel Garcia could be another name for that, by the way. I think he
Possibly,
looks.
possibly.
Yeah,
I think I think they're going to do a lot with Daniel Garcia
there's
and
a rung of Cody guys, and I think two of the that could easily go to WWE. QT Marshall's one who
I th-
might be, and then you've got obviously Ricky Starks, Daniel Garcia. I think a lot of them could end up in WWE at some point. And I think Ricky Starks a great shout. I really like Ricky Starks. I think him. I think that MJF feud made him for me.
yeah,
I think before that he was kind of floundering. He had the code. He was in a feud with Jericho for about 4 years, as every Jericho feud is. And I think he had a promo segment with MJF where he just oozed charisma.
yeah.
And I
The
think,
one with the thing with Punk as well. Him and
yeah,
Punk had quite a good kind of run in for a few weeks.
and then Punk tried to scrap Jack Perry and that went down the hill. And he that match with Danielson,
Yeah,
all out, great match. So yeah, I think that's a good shout. And I think my next one's for the agency as well. So then I think, well, based on mine, there might be some gaps in the WWE roster. But yeah, I
yeah,
think, yeah, Ricky Stark's a great shout.
yeah. I think we need to look back at like NXT, like the likes of like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. They all went to NXT, and it probably no maybe not saved their career, but if they'd went straight into WWE, I don't think it would have worked as good.
No.
I think having NXT there, the likes of Ricky Starks, I think Jade wouldn't do her any harm. I think she's got the star power. I think she's been built. I don't think things are going to plan with Jade, by the way, in terms of obviously
Well,
personal circumstances haven't
yeah.
helped, but they've said that she's a wee bit behind. But I think we might. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't turn up at the Rumble and they maybe just kind of keep her back for a bit, which I don't think would do her any harm. But in terms of who do I think from the AEW roster that's up would thrive in NXT and would suit them going to NXT before they took the jump to the main roster, 100% Ricky Starks.
Yeah, I agree.
Your fifth and final prediction.
Well, you spoke about folk going from AEW to WWE. I've gone the other direction. Sheamus and Drew Galloway side. Well, Drew McIntyre, then Drew Galloway, both sides
Yeah,
for AEW.
yeah.
And
I've
they
that
will
as well.
both debut at All In.
I Drew as well. I'm not sure
Yeah,
about Sheamus, but I think Drew will.
I think Sheamus more likely.
Think so?
Yeah, I think Drew's doing the stuff with Seth. He's having great matches on TV. I think it's Drew Sammy at Mania as well. And I think I like them both. I think they're both good WWE guys, but I think Drew Galloway to AEW, I think it does. I think it just writes itself. and he's got him and Sheamus are very different to a lot of people that AEW have. I think you stick them both in a ring with Eddie Kingston, and it's magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. They've got a lot of your technical wrestlers. You got a lot of your flippy guys. I'll say but then you don't have a lot of your people who don't know wrestling's fake and are just gonna hit you as hard as they can. And I think they two fit that bill perfectly, along with Eddie Kingston. Maybe you should have a John Moxley in there as well.
Yeah. I think Drew and AEW, that was like the one in terms of free agency. Like, I think the likes of Seth, Becky, they'll all stay. AJ, I think's
Yeah.
quite happy in WWE. Kevin Owens will stay. The only one I thought would be Drew, just because I think he's I think he wants to give it a try. I think he's done, and this might sound controversial. I don't think he can do much more in WWE because I don't think he's the guy. And I think his moment for being the guy, he was so unlucky with the. Do you know what I mean? He won the title in an empty arena, but I think that
No,
was his time. I
yeah.
don't think, as much as I'm a fan of him, as much as I personally want to see him do really well, because he only stays 10 minutes. He used to stay 10 minutes away from me. But I don't think he will ever get to that stage again in WWE. But he can in AEW. Like if he went to
Yeah.
AEW, I
I
think he'd be
think
fine. Like even Clash, you could say Clash was the perfect time for it as well, and they
I
didn't do
don't
it. I can.
think that's what I was gonna say. I don't think Clash was.
I think
Everyone
if you were going to do it
going
though,
into
that was the
Clash,
only
everyone
time you could
thought,
have done it. You could only have done it at
yeah.
that time. Like that was the perfect time to do it.
Everyone went into Clash thinking, oh, Drew's gonna win, Drew's gonna
Yeah,
win. I always thought Roman was retaining. And it was actually the
yeah.
internet persuaded me to think, oh, Drew might have a chance
That
here.
was the thing with me as
But
well.
when that
Because
match was announced, I thought, nah, Roman's easily winning this.
yeah,
And then I think the way they done it perfectly.
no, it
His
worked for
story
him.
with Jay on Raw has been great, even though it's a bit of a plot hole because it wasn't actually Jay that cost him, but it's wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can rewrite that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
But
just don't.
yeah,
I don't think. I think the free agency, like everybody's saying, like we'll get into like the I want to get your thoughts on a couple before we wrap up. We maybe haven't mentioned that are kind of open for discussion, but I don't see anybody jumping ship apart from maybe Drew. I don't think Sheamus. I'm not sure about. I think Becky and Seth absolutely will stay. In terms of free agency, I don't think. I think Drew's the only one for me, but I can see your point in Sheamus. Right, Scott. My fifth one is who wins Money in the Bank this year. I think Tiffany Stratton wins the women's, and Grayson Waller wins the men's. What do you think?
I like one of them. I like Tiffany Stratton. I think she's phenomenal. But with Grayson Waller, I think after years of, let's be honest, crap Money in the Bank booking, both Vince and Triple H, I think we need a big name to win it and have a great title reign with it. And Grayson Waller for me isn't that guy. I like him, but he's no more than a mid card heel that can have a segment about they can eat a stunner when Austin comes back, for example. I don't think he's any more than that. I like him. He had a great match with Edge. But if you look at the champs, potential champs coming after me, you get four of them. You get Punk, you get Seth, you get Cody, you've got Roman. And I can't see Grayson Waller cashing in on any of them.
Doesn't he win though? Doesn't he win to cash in? Doesn't he cash in and win?
I
Do you know what I
think
mean?
he does. I get what you're saying after what they've done, previously, but I think you need you need a decent title reign after Money in the Bank to bring back the prestige of Money in the Bank. If you think about it, you haven't had a good one since what? Seth?
No, not really. Eh,
Not really.
maybe
Big
Miz.
E, but Big E
Big
did,
E, Miz. The way they done it with Miz winning it back out, winning it off
but
Otis, I thought was brilliant.
Miz
I
never won
know,
the ladder match.
but that was I would put what they thought they were doing with Otis winning it. I don't know because it was never going to be a chance. Do you know what I mean? It was never ever going to work. And the way they did it with Miz, they got it off. They got it off and put Miz on it. It was a perfect segue for Bobby to Drew. That worked brilliantly. In terms of Money in the Bank, it's not. I mean, Damien Priest, I don't get. what they're going to do now. I think they teased it Monday night. I think that would have worked, and have Damien and Seth at Rumble, and have something to do with that. And now I just don't think. And you could have had a wee bit of dissension between Damien and Finn getting into WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think SummerSlam is a time of that.
Yeah,
If
and
Finn beat Seth, although to be fair, I do like Judgment Day staying together.
yeah,
I
I wouldn't
think
have an issue
I
breaking
think
them up.
I would have an issue keeping them up. I like Judgment Day. I can keep them for as long as possible. I think the R2 stuff's funny, but I don't. It doesn't. For me, it's just spinning plates until Rumble and get some put their teeth into.
Yeah. Well, the other couple I had, well, Tiffany Stratton, I think makes a lot of sense. I think they
Yeah.
call her up after Mania. She's just going to be so good. I think she's we spoke about her a couple of weeks ago. I think she is a superstar. The other one I thought about was Gunther winning in Berlin. Gunther beating Punk in Berlin. That's going to happen. I don't think
Yeah.
that's much of a prediction. They're not having an event in Germany and not having him win something.
No. I like that shout.
Yeah.
I think the one I had another one written down, which is Britt Baker does a Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask
I
you about Sasha or Mercedes.
I
What
think
happens there?
I think Britt Baker walks out Dynamite because she's been very vocal into it. She's not a. I don't know if this is right. She's not got a promo this year.
Not in Dynamite. She did on
No,
Rampage, I think, or something. She did on something, but she didn't.
she
It was
is.
specifically
She's
Dynamite.
one of the best. One of the. I don't want to say best. One of the best things that Tony's done with his women division was when Britt Baker was injured during the pandemic. They kept her on telly
Yeah, what
because
was it called? The
she's a
dentist chair or something?
yeah. Although that Dennis match was crap, but
Oh yeah.
keeping her on telly with a wheelchair, she had, I think that got her a lot of fans. Me being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Britt Baker. The only thing that stopped me from putting that down was the fact that Adam Cole's there, and if she walks out, that's quite big on Adam Cole. I mean, Trent Naomi done it with Jey Uso and Jimmy there, so maybe not, but I think Britt Baker could walk out for Dynamite, sure,
Where does
and maybe
Mercedes
go to WWE.
Where does Mercedes money end up?
Dynamite on Wednesday.
Think so.
Yeah, I think it's based on all the reports. I think it's a pretty stucker.
There was
I
definitely
think
she has 100% aimed too high in what she wanted for WWE. She wanted Charlotte money. She wasn't getting it.
I don't blame her for asking for Charlotte money.
I don't blame her either, but I don't think she was ever going to get it.
No, she might have got it for Tony.
She will get it from Tony. 100% will get it from Tony. Tony will get her just to. But is she going to be the difference? Is she going to make that division better?
I think I don't think that's the question for me. I don't think that's a question about Mercedes. I think that's a question about Tony.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
I think
is this going to be the saviour to that division, or has there
my
been?
only thought is, I think Tony is spending enough money on her that it has to be, and I think you could put a certain. I think I spoke. I think it was you speak to this a bit. I think if you stick a Miss Ronda Rousey in there as well, I think Tony has to sort his women's division. So if he's paying Mercedes money, and Ronda Rousey money, then he needs to do something to make his investment good. And I don't. And will it happen? Will it happen? No, sure. You get Mercedes Jamie here at Wembley. That's not a bad shout.
There's good things you can do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you could.
There's a lot of talent now.
There is,
Britt
but
Baker, Ruby. I think Ruby Soho's a great wrestler.
but they're wasting
Rosa
her
when
with
she's
some
fit.
ridiculous stuff. Even I like the Julia Hart Sky Blue stuff. Like I like the way they're going down with that. But what do you mean they could have done it months ago and it would have made more sense? And now it's just like they've done it too late, and now you're just like, it's not really going to elevate anyone. Like
No.
there's so much. We've still got again Saraya. She can still play a part. You've got, as you said, like kind of Thunder Rosa, but Cass Statlander. There's a lot of talent there. It's just they aren't getting used well at all. But is this one injection just going to be the spark? I'm not sure.
I think it. I'm going to be positive with Tony and say it will be.
No, I hope you're right. But
Is
what's
the reason Tony's spoken about, the reason Tony said about Tony's very stats driven, and the biggest stat when it comes to Tony is the bank balance.
Mhm.
And when he's paying Mercedes what Mercedes wants, then that's a lot of money that he's spending to have one match in the top of the sector.
Yeah. Mercedes versus Tony, I think you could do. I think Tony, I know you're not a fan, I like the Tony Storm. Like, I just think it's that ridiculous. It's something a bit different. And I like,
Have Mercedes win the belt on their first night.
yeah,
Have
you could do.
Mercedes win the belt Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
then
she'll show up that quick. Then she'll show up that quick.
Yeah. Based on everything I'm reading, I think I'll be stunned if she's not on Dynamite the night, actually. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, this is so it could we could have this out. This could be out with after that.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a stick on she goes to AEW. And I think have her win the title either tonight or within a few weeks, and then just have her hold it for a year. And then you do Mercedes, Jamie Hayter at Wembley.
yeah, nah, you could do so. All In's now the biggest show in AEW. Double or Nothing's not that big anymore in terms.
Oh yeah.
All In's the WrestleMania of AEW.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where everything's going to be going. So no, I'm quite fascinated. I do think she'll end up in AEW now, but if you'd said to me last week, I'd said 100% she'd go to WWE.
Aye.
I think it
I
was
was the same.
nailed on. But now what's happened's happened. I think she's going to end up in AEW. Where does Okada end up?
WWE. I think this is going to be controversial, but I think the booking of Ibushi's put Okada off AEW.
And I think the elevation of Nakamura recently has helped that.
Yeah.
Because Nakamura, I love the way they're portraying Nakamura recently.
Yeah. The American Nightmare Before Christmas is great fun.
Brilliant. Brilliant. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. We'll revisit these in the first day of 2025 and see how we end up. But Scott, I thoroughly enjoyed that, mate. We'll be back next week with a new show. We'll look at what's been happening over the past couple of weeks. We'll maybe do a wee early Rumble preview. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very
Sounds
much indeed to all our viewers. Tune in for the next episode, and as always, follow us on social media. Thank you.